Hello, this is Faarcyde. I'm doing a live replay of 60, $100, and $200 heads up sit and goes. Some of the topics I wanted to touch on here was 3-betting, check raising ranges, leading ranges, all kinds of things. So stick around and hopefully we'll see some good hands. So I hope you guys had a good year. I definitely didn't accomplish all my goals that I had in 2013, but I did complete a lot of them. The main one was volume. I had planned to play 14,400 games, which is 1,200 a month, and I did make that. I fell short of my money goals a little bit, but that's one thing you can't control too much sometimes. All you can do is put the volume in and hope for the best. So, anyway, to start off the first hand, if we go back here, I get 3-bet the first hand, and we get re-raised. One thing I normally think about when I'm trying to think about my 3-bet calling range is obviously the biggest factor is how much are they 3-betting. Now, it's hard to say when, this is the first hand of the tournament. We don't know who our villain is, but we have to assume if they're 3-betting the first hand, then it's more likely than not that they have a little bit of a wider 3-betting range. Obviously, you could just have aces here and picked up a good hand the first hand of the tournament, but, we have to go off some information, and it's that he's probably more likely than not a wide 3-better, so I think Queen 10 becomes a calling hand because of that. So anyway, we call. Flop is pretty bad, and I think this is the type of flop that if you had ace, king, ace, queen here, queen, jack, he'd probably give up because it's hit so much of my 3-bet calling range in general. So while I would normally make a play sometimes on these type of boards, first hand, as I said, since he's 3-betting the first hand, it's more likely that he's a wide 3-better than not a wide 3-better, but it also means that he more likely has a good hand than a bad hand as well, because, like a premium hand, just because I think people are generally a little bit more tentative about 3-betting the first hand. So anyway, just mug it. He limps, we check. I see some people lead these type of boards, and I don't really understand it. I don't think we get any better to fold. I don't think too much worse calls. I mean, maybe like a hand like King 9 or something like that, but I think it's a decent check calling hand. He bets 3/4 the pot, which is quite a bit. I wouldn't hate check folding here. I don't think it could be a check fold if the board was like King Jack 7, but the fact it's Jack 8-7, it means it's like total trash hands like 9-5 and King 9 and stuff are going to have significant equity against us, which decreases our equity here. So decide to call. Pretty bad card for us, and he bets an amount 16 and 96 that it looks like he has something decent. So he could be leveling us there, but definitely can't continue there on the turn. Pretty strong flop for us. He calls. In terms of what his range could be at this point, I think it's probably a lot of ace highs, any pair. I think normally, like, your average player would probably check raise like a 6-7 or a flush draw, but since I don't really know too much about the player, fishier players do tend to be passive with those type of draws, even if, a hand like 6-7 is very strong here, Queen 7 of spades or whatever, but a lot of fish don't realize that, so they play a little bit slower than they should. The only hand I'm really worried about at this point is ace 3, maybe pocket 2s, 6-3. So definitely value betting the turn. You could have a hand like Jack 10 or Queen 10, but I think the hands that he'll call a second row with far outweigh the hands that have me slightly beat for value, like the hands I just mentioned. So